Recently I did a video on Ocarina of Time, and much like Nintendo, I followed it up with Majora's Mask. However, as I played more and more of Majora's Mask, it made me start to wonder, how powerful is Majora? Where did he come from? Who is the Happy Mask Salesman? Why the hell does Nintendo keep making that toilet guy? This line of thinking led me down a rabbit hole, exploring the Zelda lore, watching old Zeltic videos, game theory, and Hyrule journals, looking for connections where they seem to fit. And I think I figured it out. The game itself is very vague on what Majora is. It's explained that the mask itself is called Majora's Mask, an accursed item from legend that is said to have been used by an ancient tribe in its hexing rituals. The wearer of the mask is imbued with evil and wicked power. The ancient ones, fearing such catastrophe, sealed the mask in shadow forever, preventing its misuse. The ancient tribe from legend vanishes, and no one knows the true nature of the mask's power. For the game, that's pretty much it. It keeps Majora as shrouded in mystery as it possibly can, but turning to the manga, despite many considering it non-canon, may shed a little more light on who Majora is. 10 million years ago lived a dragon in solitude. After centuries of isolation, the dragon smells an old but familiar scent. A human. The human approaches the dragon without fear and sits in front of him, asking if he can rest at his land. The dragon questions the human as to why he's here, as there have not been human in his world for ages. He lashes out, telling the human to not lie, and he knows he's heard the legend of his armor being able to grant wishes. The traveler denies having heard such rumors and informs the dragon that he is drawn to this world by a strange force. A world that is not moving, but not dead either. After conversing more, the traveler asks the dragon why has he not left this land. This puzzles the dragon, as he's never thought as to why he hasn't. Thinking about it more, the dragon is remorseful. He's tired of being alone. He then exclaims all the people he's eaten, all their desire, swirls like a whirlpool inside of him, forming his first wish. His wish? To make his time move. The traveler then pulls out his drum and begins to play, telling the dragon to dance. As he plays and the dragon dances, something does happen. Time does begin to move. The dragon danced for 3 days, and on the morning of the 4th day, the dragon collapsed, died, along with the world. All that was left was the dragon's armor and the traveler. The unknown traveler then carves the armor into the mask we know, sealing its power in it. This ends with the mask being cast into darkness. There's a number of interesting bits of information to take away from the manga. An instrument that can move time, creation of Majora's Mask, a world that is not moving or dead, then turned to darkness. Parallel to the moon being in the sky for 3 days and ending in the dawn of the 4th day, but could also explain how the Happy Mask Salesman came into possession of the mask. Do I think the traveler is the Happy Mask Salesman? No. It's possible this may be the fierce deity, however, I don't think that's entirely true. We'll circle back around to this, but keep this in the back of your mind. A world not moving, or dead, turned to darkness. At the end of Ocarina of Time, Link saves the day, returns the sword to the Temple of Time, and Navi says, "Hey, listen, I gotta go." Majora's Mask starts with Link traveling into what is considered by many to be the Lost Woods, looking for everyone's favorite mobile tutorial. Opponent gets freaked, Link gets a concussion, and hijinks ensue. As Link chases Skull Kid, he comes to a giant tree and falls down a deep hole. Upon exiting to Clock Town, one thing is clear. This dog is an asshole. Also, Link isn't underground. This is a new place, featuring characters similar to the ones Link has met in the past. When Link falls down the hole, he entered a new dimension. This isn't new to the series, and has been done multiple times at this point. Twilight Princess, A Link Between Worlds, Skyward Sword, but this was done even before Majora's Mask, with a link to the past. As the game starts, Skull Kid already has Majora's Mask, and it's explained later on he stole it from the Happy Mask Salesman. But the important question is, how did the Happy Mask Salesman acquire Majora's Mask? To answer that, we need to talk a little more about who this guy is, and why does he have a Mario mask. In the game, the Happy Mask Salesman never states how he got the mask, just he went to great lengths to get that legendary mask. The Happy Mask Salesman is an interesting character. He was in Ocarina of Time, as well as Majora's Mask. But then again, who isn't? But the thing that makes him stand out is that he knows Link is the hero of time, despite many forgetting that he saved Hyrule because he went back in time. He's aware of his traveling through time, defeating Ganondorf, and saving Hyrule. This means two things. The Happy Mask Salesman isn't affected by the flow of time, and that he can travel between dimensions. It's also shown at the end of the game that he simply disappears out of nowhere. Seriously, what the So if he can travel between dimensions, I have a good feeling of where he acquired this mask. a world not moving or dead, a world of darkness, similar to the end of the Majora's Mask manga, the Twilight Realm. Looking at the Twilight Palace and the manga, they share striking similarities. They both are in darkness, they both have crumbled worlds, and they both feature large rocks that strut upwards. So who was the ancient tribe that sealed Majora's Mask away? The same tribe that built the Temple of Time to protect the entrance to the sacred realm. The ancient sages. One particular detail that led me to this is the sages' appearance. The mask they wear, a staple ingrained into the culture of Termina. Remember, the mask was carved millions of years ago, so it's fairly likely that they could have used this mask to aid in the creation of the Temple of Time. Fearing the power and malice the mask contained, they sealed it in the Twilight Realm, or someone else did, and that's what caused the fear in the sages. Who was the group and how did it result in the Happy Mask Salesman finding the mask? The Interlopers were a group of ancient powerful sorcerers who sought to control the sacred realm and the Triforce using shadow magic. They were defeated and banished to the Twilight Realm. This could also explain the humans that the dragon ate in the manga. Eventually, he wouldn't smell them anymore, not because they were all dead, but because the Interlopers evolved into the Twilight, which is explained in Twilight Princess. They didn't smell like humans anymore. The key takeaway is the opening and banishing of the Interlopers into the Twilight Realm opened the door to the Happy Mask Salesman, because as he states multiple times in the game, he can feel the powers and emotions from the masks themselves. He couldn't help himself, and he ventured into the Twilight to reclaim the mask for himself. So that explains the origin of Majora's Mask and how the Happy Mask Salesman got a hold of it. The one thing that isn't explained, but is very clearly stated by Nintendo itself, is the hero's shade. This dead guy right here is Link. Specifically, it's the Link from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, but less alive. This is the Link that laments he wasn't able to pass on his teaching to future heroes of Hyrule, but in the terms of history, it doesn't make any sense. The brief moment after Majora's Mask, there was no era that needed saving. So I think the hero's shade tried to do something else, and it's tied to his sheath. Zeltec pointed this out, and it made me think. The hero's shade has the Master Sword sheath, which appears with the Master Sword. This means this version of Link returned to the Temple of Time and retrieved the Master Sword. So what does this mean? Referring to the Twilight Princess manga, the hero's shade mentions, "I am not completely free, but through the power of thought, I can cross time, space, and dimensions, and change my form." I think this Link lived in the child era, left before the Twilight era, retrieved the Master Sword, and lived in the era without a hero, then returned to his era where he died, resulting in his regret of not being able to pass on his teachings. So that's it. I think that explains Majora's Mask, the hero's shade, the Happy Mask Salesman. That was a lot of information to take in. Hopefully I did it in a concise way that you guys, could break down, and it was at least made some kind of sense. This is different than any kind of video I've ever made. I actually wrote a big script to go along with that, but yeah, just playing the games made me really start thinking and diving into the lore. I'd like to thank Zeltec, Game Theory, Hyrule Journals, producing fantastic videos about Zelda, something that everybody loves, and it's fantastic content. If you want to see more stuff like that, you should go check out those guys. They're fantastic creators. But yeah, that's going to be it. If you don't think this is it, let me know in the comments or anything like that. It was just a really fun video to make, and thanks for watching.